Hello, fellow hunters in Twilight. Producer Jimmy here. Just a reminder that next week, Uncle Yo is appearing at Too Many Games in the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center. That's June 24th through June 26th. Also, special shoutouts are due to David Gibb and Corey the Gory Story. And now, on with the show.
Welcome to the Tombstone Kings of Queens. Due to adult language and violent nature of the stories told, listener discretion is strongly advised.
Episode 4: River, Styx, and Stones. Shit! I don't know if I can do this. We had everything set. We had everything prepared, and we still got the half-living shit kicked out of us, pushed back in. Oh, damn it. Damn it! Okay. You know how when people say, this is hell, and they don't really mean the place? Well, I just saw the place. The real place, and damn nearly stayed. They came at us from every angle. Leslie said we were going to the Underworld. Some new team-building exercise since the last one went by so well.
I met Chandra outside the gate. She leaned her hip against the door and it swung open without a hitch. She led me down the sidewalk, past Irish and Italian names, Gomez's, Santiago's, Stone Angels, and reverent replicas of Jesus Christ. There we were, after hours in New Calvary Cemetery. The whole Tombstone Kings of Queens. Gang's all here. It always feels so heavy when the lot of us get together, like our geists are talking behind our backs and both parties politely ignore it. They just get more excited and louder when they're all together, like they're plotting something. We were loaded with a pharaoh's ransom of mementos and trinkets. I know there's weird shit out there. I've heard of, besides us, things like werewolves, fairies, but fucking mummies. And they're in Leslie's fucking little black book next to the plumber and his gardener? They hand me a change of clothes. Stuff I ain't never seen before. Salvation Army jackets worn by a recently deceased. Tools shaped from recently severed fetters. Some compass that Leslie said he borrowed from the Smithsonian. I mean, whatever. Nyx was in a stained lab coat while jiggling her flask. Chandra had these, I don't know, new hunting knives at her waist and something even nastier strapped to her back. Callie had this belt made of, I think, teeth. Most of them were animal. Many were not. We eventually all met at this mausoleum. This one had Montague written above it because they were an old family, and one of their own had founded the first crew in New York City. Leslie had one of his books out. One of the old books he doesn't really let me see or let me touch. And here I was the only one to ask, why were we there? Why now? Why tonight? Leslie, the boss man, whom I've trusted with my life, just nodded to Nyx and started reading. He and Nyx had done this rodeo plenty of times before, so we were going to be fine. We should have been fine. Thank God Nyx had the decency to talk to me. She pulled her hair back into a ponytail, and I could smell the rum before she spoke. She said that every crew needs to know how to enter, and more importantly, how to leave the Underworld. It's just part of our responsibilities. She said she and Leslie agreed that Callie, Chandra, and I were ready. That also, more importantly, the three of us didn't have a say in the matter. But what are we doing down there? I asked. Was this sightseeing? Was this reconnaissance? Were we collecting something or someone? Nyx put a finger to my lip, and I felt her full weight as she braced herself against me to stand straight. I couldn't help but wonder if this had something to do with Leslie's recent anniversary. Then the wind picked up. I could hear the hollow glass tinkling of the pale angel, spreading her syringe and IV tube wings as he held out his hand. Leslie kept muttering, and I heard Chandra muse at recognizing his Egyptian. The stone entrance to the Maws, this giant concrete slab, taller than 2 of us, wider than 3 of us, it didn't so much move out of the way, it just vanished. And where it stood were these jagged black stairs wider than the doorway could reveal. Maybe a week ago, Nick started telling me about the Underworld. Now, in our particular line of work, after a while you stop being able to stomach the nonsense and rumors, or you take everything with a grain of salt until your taste buds go numb. It was a little after sunrise. I was in Nyx's bed, smoking. She was breathing in my second hand from my mouth. She had gone the whole night without a drink, without a smoke, and without fucking me. And the black-boned daddy was clearly giving her shit for it. He'd shift the bed a little one way then the other. He'd rock it every now and then. She was tired, and still fighting him for control over her whole body. I think she just wanted to prove that she could get through a day sober. Or sober-ish. That she was as capable and smart as she was before she died. She wanted to make small talk, so she asked me what I knew about hell. I told her when I was growing up, we all thought hell was New York and Austin and Seattle were all hell, where the gays and the gypsies and whatever gathered together. I heard it was dry, or hot, or gray, and in some video games full of monsters that cheat because they have the home field advantage. I told her I once heard that hell is other people. They got a real dry laugh out of her. I liked that. She blinked her wet, red eyes and rested her head against my chest. Now to people like us, she said, hell is a place. To people not like us, the ones who stay dead, who live their lives uninterrupted, hell's just a state of mind, with a very clear path leading to it. She said to reach hell, you turn off your navigation. You kill the hope switch in your brain. You turn around, and you walk back. You turn your back on the chance to change, and you let your feet pick up every sin and regret on your feet like tar or gum till you don't move your legs. You let the cobwebs of lost days and paths you didn't take stick to you, slow you down. You let your eyes lose focus, and soon you move so slow, you arrive before you know it. I asked her if she believed that, and she showed me her teeth in a way that wasn't really a smile. Her eyes glossed over, and she reached down and grabbed my cock, gurgling, "Well, hello, Dolly. Yes, hello, Dolly." Sometimes she's easier to talk to when the black bone daddy's in charge. At least then you know you're being fucked with. With every step I took closer to the jet black stairs leading down, I heard the general's voice more clearly. He's normally something distant, muddy and tinny, like something blowing an old bugle or distant cannon fire. I never get clear words, but at the mausoleum he was crystal clear, and he was excited, like a frontline battle standard sounding the charge. My ears were ringing, my stomach hurt like hell, Chandra looked back at me and I saw her eyes bulge. My vision started getting foggy, and all the time I'm hearing the general scream to charge forward, take no prisoners, crazy shit like that I didn't need right then and there. It just got louder until I put my foot on the front step. In silence. Goddamn silence. Leslie led the 5 of us down the steps, shining this dim, white light from a stone he was holding, and it felt like we descended for hours. Maybe it was, I couldn't tell. He told us during our long walk down that there were countless levels, and if we didn't get off on the right step, we'd miss the level we wanted. I don't know how he could tell when to step off because we were in a tunnel full of stairs, so how can you choose when to... Like I said earlier, grain of salt, keep your head down. Maybe your sanity can follow. Soon the stairs opened up into something underground, some dismal gray cavern within. I guess it had these Pueblo-style houses that seemed carved into the stones. And all along this impossibly high ceiling, these twisting gray lightning clouds made of ghosts were circling above us. All moans and dismal singing without melodies, no tones, just longing. We found the old laws easy enough. They're on every level. These were painted on a giant arch-shaped stone in dry blood. And they read that no sin eater will speak to or leave with a resident of this level. I really wished Leslie had told us that that's exactly what we were doing. I'm in my bedroom now. It's maybe 2:30 in the morning. I don't know why I'm still recording these. I doubt Leslie's gonna be paying for any more counseling or anything ever again. It's been a couple days since. We just haven't heard anything from, I thought about grabbing some of the guys from one of the other crews and trying to find him. But I just keep thinking, shut up. Shut up, General. Not now! I said not now! Everything in the underworld was gray, and immediately my eyes stung whenever I tried to look further than my head. Like, I could make out details, but it was like the world itself didn't want me to take it all in, didn't want me to see further. I wish I hadn't tried. There was this lake, maybe 50 paces away from where we entered. A whole line of specters, human-shaped ghosts, stood along the edge of the water. Leslie wanted Chandra and I to accompany him. Now, my guts were a fist, but a job is still a job. I had sworn loyalty to this man. Chandra motioned for me to look at the water. There were these boats coming out of the fog, or I guess like wooden rafts, like kayak-sized, maybe 10 feet long. They were all approaching the side of the lake, and each raft had an animal head carved into its bow, and a cloaked figure in the back was guiding it like a thoughtful gondolier with this long wooden pole. I guess we made it to admissions. Leslie was scanning the crowd of ghosts, leaning to look under their hoods, and then he stopped. We saw him clutch one of the ghosts by the shoulder and give it a shake. "Look, Angel," Leslie said. "It's Michael. I would like to say hello to Michael, but I will talk to you instead." His eyes, they glassed over. I never saw him this unsteady before. Chandra and I looked to Nix, who nodded. This was the target, apparently. Leslie's... I don't know, something. What do we do? I asked. Not talk to him directly, Nick said. The moment we broke an old law, the moment we put ourselves at risk, we were in for an underworld of trouble. Every level of this place has a guardian, this Kerberoy. We don't know where they come from, and they are determined to maintain those laws no matter what. And when you have their kind of power, you listen. Leslie held out his handkerchief and wrapped it around the compass stone he was using. He kept telling the angel what he wanted Michael to do, that he wanted Michael to hold the stone, that he needed Michael to come back with him, that he found a way back. So Bossman had lost it. I didn't know how to help. I don't know if he even wanted me to help. And that's when I saw him, wading up to his waist in the water beyond the shore. My father stood beyond the shore in the water and glared at me the way that he used to. I didn't realize I had spoken his name until Chandra and Leslie snapped their heads at me. The ghosts on the shore all snapped their heads to face me. The guys on the rafts looked and pointed at me. Good thing we were already in hell, because for a moment I thought things couldn't get any worse. That cloud of ghosts above us stopped churning, stopped moving. My voice had broken the silence. That entire cloud of uncountable number of spirits started descending on us. Nick screamed for us to get back to the exit. Leslie grabbed Michael by the shoulders and tried to drag him. As Chandra and I turned heel to run, I saw Callie swept up like a kite, like a plastic bag in the wind, by a whole wave of ghosts. She screamed, and a flash of fire radiated from her in a burst, then got swallowed right again. Chandra had that Asian-looking sword out, and she was swiping upward, trying to deflect the ghosts clawing at her from above. I saw the drowned girl launch a swarm of black moths from Chandra's hair, and they pushed back the greedy, grasping hands. My vision blurred, and it got bloody real fast. My breath rattled like I had coins in my lungs, and the general was screaming again, "About face, soldier! Turn, flank, and charge!" Like fuck that was gonna happen. I grabbed Nix's hand and stumbled, my legs stiff as concrete as I reached the bottom step. We had to climb. We had to get out. Soon as I hit the bottom step, the one we used to get there, I was back in the graveyard. Hours to get down, one step to bring you back. Hell of a commute to work. I looked back, and the Avernian gate had closed. No Nix. No one else. I had abandoned my crew in the Underworld. So, something killed my father, and nobody back home thought to tell me. Tells me that it must have been sudden. Must have been recent. I've been checking my email, calling, obviously, and no one's picking up. I got through to my sister-in-law. She's the next town over, and she hung up soon as I asked. I gotta find out what happened to my family, but I mean, we just sit here every day, and it's right here, right there in front of us. I'm not talking about sin eaters or ghosts. I'm talking about hell. Hell is right there. The dead are right there in front of us all the time, every day, wanting, needing. This hollow planet we're sitting on, it's just a plastic wrap with so many hands trying to reach through, clawing through, hungry claws, and death is right there. It's with us all the time. We never escape it. As panicked as I was, I had to go back for them. Had to go back for Nyx. I tried pushing the stone at the mausoleum. Wouldn't budge. I asked the general for strength, pleaded him to give me power, and he wouldn't give. He called me a coward, and he was quiet. Then I heard heavy breathing behind me. One of the other tombstones must have been another gate because Nyx, Chandra, and Kylie ran out and hit the grass hard. Kylie was limping, and there were still ghost flames dancing on her sleeves, but not her usual color. Chandra was holding her face, crying in pain, or just crying. Nyx was covered in blood, but staring wide-eyed at me. These horrible black lines were pulsing but receding beneath the skin of her face, creeping and draining back down her neck, like her veins had been pumping gasoline or tar or something hideous like that. "The fuck you left us, Robbie!" she screamed. "Where's Leslie?" I had to ask. "It was a lie," Nyx said, as she took gauze out of her coat pockets and started wrapping around Chandra's eyes, trying to hold her mouth shut. "Leslie lied to us. This wasn't supposed to be some fucking rescue mission, some selfish rescue mission. And then you ran out like a pussy and left us center stage for a Grim Reaper fuckfest." "Did you leave him?" I yelled. I ran to her, and she slapped me. Before I knew it, she had one of Chandra's hunting knives pointed at my face. "We had a Kerberoy the size of an Amtrak chasing us down I don't know how many halls, Robbie, and you fucking coward. All the time, the one time we need you. Leslie put all of our lives in danger, and he didn't even tell me. I had to make a new gate. I had to break one of my keystones." She retched, then puked, then collapsed. So that's what happened. Nyx left Leslie in hell. Hark, honor's call, summoning all of us unto the strife. Sons of the South, awake, strike until the brand shall break. Strike for dear honor's sake, freedom and life. Strike for dear honor's sake, freedom and life. I just found my tape recorder this morning. Tape was completely used up. Just sitting here on my counter. I know I left it in the bedroom. I know I turned it off. I fell asleep. And that almost sounds like me, but... oh God, who the hell was that?
The Tombstone Kings of Queens is written by Uncle Yo, produced by Jimmy Lin and Uncle Yo.
And don't forget, original music produced by Jimmy Lin.
Special thanks to Onyx Path Publishing and White Wolf Publishing for the chance to haunt a whole new world of darkness. Comments? Questions? Suggestions? Join us on Facebook.com/UncleYo or check us out on Patreon.com/UncleYo and help keep the Twilight Network in touch. Game on, include everybody, and remember that death is only the beginning.